In this module, we're going to look at our start of classification, and before we start to classify, we have to look at properties. Property is anything that can be observed or measured about material. So anything that you can notice to differentiate about from one material or another, or to group materials into categories, is going to be a property. For this module, we're going to look at object A and object B and determine different properties that are available for them. And there are several different types of properties. First distinction between types of property is that property can be extensive or intensive. If a property is extensive, it depends on the amount of material. The more you have, the larger the value will be, or the less you have, the lesser the value will be. So if the value changes based on the amount of material, it is an extensive property. And one example of this is area. Material A has a smaller area than material B, the way I have it represented. But if I had more of material A, its area would increase. That makes it extensive. An intensive property does not depend on the amount of material. It is something that will not change if you add more or less of something. An example of that is color. Material A is blue, material B is red, and it does not matter how much I have. If I were to have equal amounts of A and B, A would still be blue, B would still be red. Because of that, that means I can use color as a way of identifying material. And then I can give you enough properties you can narrow down between one material and another. Second distinction between types of properties, properties can be quantitative or qualitative. And if something is quantitative, there is a number attached to it. And we can look at area quantitatively by saying that object A has an area of 4 centimeters squared. If something is qualitative, it does not have a number. And we can do the same thing for area without using numbers by saying that B has more area than A. That is a qualitative representation of area. The last distinction between properties is it can be a physical property or a chemical property. And if it is a physical property, it can be measured without affecting composition. So if I look at the area that we have been measuring, I can measure the area by taking a ruler and measuring the length times the width and then multiplying them. When I am done measuring the area, I still have my object and it is unchanged. There are many properties that we can measure without changing the material. A chemical property cannot be measured without trying to affect the composition. So we're going to try to change the material. It may not happen, but we have to at least try. It's the only way to measure it. An example of that is flammability. The only way to see if something is flammable is to set it on fire. So by attempting to set both materials on fire, we can see A was not changed, so it is not flammable. But I could not tell that unless I tried burning it. When I look at B, B changed. B is flammable, and the composition was changed in measuring that property. So those are our distinctions between properties. Properties can be extensive or intensive, quantitative or qualitative, physical or chemical. This ends the module on properties.